Broadcasting live from the Capital OTB studios, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
Good morning, welcome to Racing Across America, recapping Florida Derby Day. Morning for you, it's evening for us. They just wrapped up, well, it's been probably a half an hour, 45 minutes since the Florida Derby wrapped up, and we planted ourselves out here by the paddock just to do a little recap of some of the action here on Florida Derby Day. We'll kick things off with our review of the Florida Derby itself. If you watched the show yesterday, you know I like Charge It. So did everybody else. And coming up to post time, Charge It was actually favored. I was a little surprised there. Again, I thought I was going to be clever and get a little bit of value. By post time, Charge It wound up to be the third choice at 3-1. Simplification was 2-1. White Abarrio was 5-2. And coming into the lane, White Abarrio just got the jump on Charge It. I think in the the first time around two turns, the stakes debut, I think it was a pretty good run from Charge It. Just White Abarrio got the jump at the top of the stretch, and then late in the stretch, Charge It was a little bit behind White Abarrio, and just had to kind of steady a little bit for a moment. I'm not sure it was going to make a difference in the finish. The winner and second place finisher, I think it still would have wound up the same way, but there was a little bit of no foul, nothing like that. I'm not suggesting. Just the horse got in and lost a little momentum. So White Abarrio gets it done. We featured on Saturday morning's Racing Across America. We had talked to Safi Joseph. We had talked to Tyler Gaffleone. Always fun to have the eventual winners on with us in the morning. So they gave us some thoughts on White Abarrio. Safi himself talked about the horse having come out of the Holy Bull win, and he said, they had some stops and starts training-wise. He thought, if I get second or third at the Holy Bull, I'll be okay. He looked phenomenal there. Subsequently, the horse had some stops and starts coming into this race, and there was some concern about that as well. But man, he looked good today getting it done. White Abarrio does get it done. The chart margin was probably, I haven't seen the chart yet actually, because we're right after the race, but probably a length, a little over a length maybe. We just stepped out of the press room where they had the post-race press conference with Safi and Tyler and the two owners. And Safi got emotional. This being his home track, he just wrapped up the meet here as the meet leader, and then he adds the Grade 1 Florida Derby to the mix, and you win that Grade 1 at what is your home track. And Safi and then went into kind of his history starting in Barbados, and he was training some pretty good horses there. He said to his dad, I'm going to go to America, and his father was kind of like, that's a big leap. They came, they tried, and Safi said, I realized a couple of years in that it wasn't going to work, and I said to my father, I think we have to go back. And he started to get emotional, and his father said, it's too late. We're not going back. We're sticking it out now. And then now we are a couple more years down the road, and he has a nice Grade 1 winner of the Florida Derby, and potentially the next step, the Kentucky Derby as well. The owners, interesting story. If you look at the PPs, you can see it was for a different trainer. First start of the career, the owner's private purchase after that race. The owner said he watched that first race of the career. The horse left from the one post position, always tough for a 2-year-old. Subsequently, not only runs well and wins, but splits horses, and the owner said, I was really impressed with the performance there. So they privately purchased the horse, subsequently an optional claiming win, a third place finish after that in that salty and productive Kentucky Jockey Club, and then they came back in the Holy Bull. So in the fifth career win, the fifth career start, the fourth career win, the Grade 1 Florida Derby, and they are on their way now, you would think, to the Kentucky Derby. White Abarrio, nice looking winner of the Florida Derby. As I say, Charge It, I don't think you can take anything away from him in only the third career start, stakes debut, first time around two turns, second place finish in Simplification, runs third. I think he continues to be a very talented runner. I wouldn't jump off his bandwagon if you're a Simplification fan. I thought that was an okay effort from him as well. But White Abarrio gets it done in the Florida Derby. In the Appleton, it was Phantom Currency getting it done, and another trainer that we had on the show on Saturday morning. It was Brian Lynch and Phantom Currency. This one was coming off a layoff over a year. Hadn't raced since last February. And Brian Lynch said that, there was some hiccups there, some problems, some physical issues. Time off, came back. Brian Lynch, when he talked to us and you heard on the Saturday show, he said, you know what, he's more of a marathon kind of a horse, so I'm not quite sure about the mile on Saturday, but I think he's going to run well. Well, mission accomplished. He gets it done in the Appleton. It was Phantom Currency off a long layoff, coming back and scoring, and we are looking at, actually went off as the favorite at 5-2, so you got $7.40 for Phantom Currency in the Appleton. Again, nice performance there off the very long layoff. One race earlier, it was the Gulfstream Park Oaks. I went out to the winner's circle afterwards and congratulated Shug, because Kathleen O is a nice 3-year-old filly. I was up in Payson Park on Tuesday morning. I saw Kathleen O there. I am not a real judge of horse flesh, but she looked very good in the barn at Payson on Tuesday, and she looked very good on Saturday, winning the Gulfstream Park Oaks over Goddess of Fire, who's another nice 3-year-old filly. That one for Todd Pletcher. But Kathleen O went off as the 50 cent to $1 favorite and looked pretty good. Chart margin is just under 3 lengths. Goddess of Fire second, Running Legacy third in the winner's circle after the race. Shug was saying Kentucky Oaks next, and the waters get a little bit deeper, and there's no getting around. This is a lightly raced horse. 4th career start, 4th career win, however. She is a very, very talented 3-year-old filly. And Shug said, the Kentucky Oaks next, but there's a lot of nice 3-year-old filly races later, and I would have to think one of those is probably the Alabama up at Saratoga. I would have to think we'll see Kathleen O a little bit later in the year, but so far so good. 4 for 4 for Kathleen O. Javier Castellano on board. As I say, 50 cents to the dollar. You got $3 even on Kathleen O in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. In the Sanibel Island, I will give a little credit to our colleague Brian Nadeau. If you were watching the Handicappers Report on Saturday morning, his top pick in the Sanibel Island was My Philly Twirl, and My Philly Twirl gets it done at a nice $22.80. So a good call by Brian there. I took a little shot with the 6th horse, Shad Nation, just never got in it. Well, was the third choice? The third, actually it was the second choice. 4-5 was Mischievous Kiss, 7-2 was Shad Nation, 4-1 was Beechnut Trophy, and the eventual winner, again, at 10-1, was the 4th choice in there, My Philly Twirl. Julian Lepereau on board for Brendan Walsh. Nice day for Brendan Walsh as well, but gets it done again at a nice price for our colleague Brian Nadeau on top in the Sanibel Island. It was number 9, Philly Twirl, and it was a ding-dong finish. I don't know whether it was one of those finishes where you watched where you ever doubted. I think My Philly Twirl was up there, and you felt pretty good all the way to the wire, but it wound up a chart margin ahead and a nose behind that for second and third as well. But My Philly Twirl in the Sanibel Island at a nice price. In the race just prior to that, we were looking at the Sir Shackleton. This was kind of interesting. Wayburn kind of showed promise earlier in the career. Going back to the 3-year-old season, was trained at that point by Jimmy Churkins, now in the Brendan Walsh barn. So again, nice day for Brendan Walsh and Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler Gaffleone on board, multiple wins on Saturday, including the Florida Derby. But he picked up the Sir Shackleton on Wayburn. Hadn't been seen since September in the Pennsylvania Derby. So this was a little bit of a layoff to come back from, stepping in against older company for the first time. So kind of signaled maybe another one of those, 3-year-olds from last year that is starting the 4-year-old season in such a promising fashion that it looks like it's going to be a pretty solid handicap division this year. Wayburn, nice winner. Chart margin winds up to be 2.5 lengths. Collaborate runs second. We had talked to Safi about that one, and he said they were a little bit, the horse was a little bit of a mystery to him with good performances and not so good. I thought the second this afternoon was a nice performance for Collaborate. And then Fortin Hill ran third in there as the 9-5 favorite. Wayburn went off at a nice 4-1. You got $10 to change on Wayburn. But again, starting off the 4-year-old season in very promising fashion, and then also, as I say, a nice day for the trainer, Brendan Walsh, and another nice win on the card as well for Tyler Gaffalione, who also had a very good day. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more Racing Across America in review and recap of Florida Derby Day here at Gulfstream Park. Stay tuned.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Well, we're on tape. We're live to tape from Gulfstream. Post races on Saturday. We're out by the paddock. Again, they've wrapped things up about an hour ago with the Florida Derby and the nice win from White Barrio. A little bit earlier on the card, it was the Pan American. Would Gufo run well off the layoff? That was going to be the question mark. Gufo, very talented in the career so far, but hadn't been seen since the Breeders' Cup Turf last November. Well, question answered, and answered successfully at 6-5. Gufo, and big move at the top of the lane. Goes out 5 wide, and with that wide move, I thought, excuse me, this is going to be a tough run down the stretch. But Gufo just kind of proved his talent, successfully negotiating that despite going 5 wide. At the top of the stretch. Joel Rosario on board. They run down a Bon Lake, the Pletcher runner, and then Novo Soul runs third at 8-1. But again, at $4.60, it is Gufo getting it done in the Pan American on Saturday at Gulfstream. In race number 7 on the card, we were looking at the Sands Springs, and let me pull up our chart here so I can get the chart margin and the final odds and whatnot. As Crystal Cliffs got it done, I had Crystal Cliffs. I had all 3 of these in the mix. It was Crystal Cliffs 4 over number 3 Stolen Holiday over number 5 Stunning Princess. I like number 3 Stolen Holiday. I had a 3-5-4. It came out 4-3-5. So mine were juggled up. The betting public was kind of in the same ballpark, making Stunning Princess the 3rd place finisher, the 5-2 favorite. Also at 5-2 was the 2nd place finisher, Stolen Holiday, and then at 3-1 was the eventual winner, Crystal Cliffs. Notable there, Crystal Cliffs, trained by Graham Motion. He was in town for that, but maybe more notable, the jockey, Tyler Gaffalione, again, really good day for Tyler. Fun to see. Gave him a congratulations after the Florida Derby press conference. And I said, always good when we have somebody on the show and they have a winning day. So he was clearly very, very happy, completing a nice day, again, with the Florida Derby win, but also picked up the win in the Sand Springs with Crystal Cliffs. Ghost Sapper, I like Kathleen O. If you watched yesterday, handicapper support, and maybe more with the conversation with Mike Welch on Racing Across America. I thought Kathleen O was a single, your free square, so to speak. She turned out to be very solid in that respect. Mike Welch said, Fearless is going to be pretty tough in here. Brian Nadeau was also talking about that one is looking kind of good. And 30 cents to the dollar, Fearless gets it done under Luis Saez in the Ghost Sapper to be another interesting and formidable player in the handicap division this year. He is not one of those 3-year-old to 4-year-olds. He's been in the handicap division before, but was coming out of a couple of second place finishes, most recently to Speaker's Corner. One of those 3 to 4-year-olds that will be a very solid player in the handicap division. So the 2 second place finishes to that one seemed to maybe flatter Fearless a little bit. There weren't any Speaker's Corners in here on Saturday. So Fearless gets it done in the Ghost Sapper. The chart margin wound up to be 6 lengths. The winning price wound up to be a ginormous $2.60, but does get it done in there in the Ghost Sapper. So congratulations to, again, Luis Saez and Todd Pletcher getting it done with Fearless, who will go on to be a player, you would have to think, in New York in the handicap division, being a Pletcher runner. And the 5th race on the card on Saturday, it was the Cutler Bay. Always say it, I love the 3-year-olds on the turf. I think it's a really fun subdivision. And so we will see going forward. I had number 5 Main Event on top. Number 5 Main Event gets it done at a decent little price of $6.40. Jose Ortiz was on board. Red Danger ran second in there. Red Danger was a Brian Lynch horse. We had talked to Brian Lynch. Again, that was on the show on Saturday, and we talked a little bit about Red Danger. Good second there by a nose over Smoke and Tea. But Main Event getting it done for George Weaver, who also had a pretty nice day because he had a good-looking maiden winner as well. So it was a nice day for trainer George Weaver also, with the stakes victory and a good-looking maiden that'll be intriguing to watch going forward. And stakes-wise, we had one more on the card. That was the 3rd on Saturday. That was the Orchid. And again, let me pull up our chart here. In the Orchid, it was number 7 Family Way getting it done. I had Harajuku over Family Way. They flip-flop. Family Way gets it done. Harajuku runs second. Beautiful Lover runs 3rd in here. Family Way went off as the favorite. Wins by a chart margin of just under a couple lengths. Harajuku by a nose over Beautiful Lover. But again, notable Family Way winning because it was Brendan Walsh. Again, really nice day for trainer Brendan Walsh. But Tyler Gaffleone on board, also a really, really nice day. So Brendan Walsh, Tyler Gaffleone, George Weaver, nice day for them. And to punctuate a meet-leading performance with a Florida Derby victory, it was a pretty nice day for Safi Joseph as well. He said, I had horses in a bunch of races today. We didn't get it done. But when you end the day with the Florida Derby victory, you feel pretty good. So it was a nice day, obviously, for Safi Joseph, and Tyler Gaffleone added to a really nice day with that Florida Derby victory. So there's a little recap of the stakes action. Have some more coming up in a moment that we recorded a little earlier this week here in Florida. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll intro our last 2 pieces. Stay tuned. Racing Across America continues. Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Bob. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a three-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
We are live from the paddock, live on tape. We're doing this Saturday night after the Florida Derby, but kind of recapping some action. We went through the Gulfstream Stakes, but I do want to mention down at Oaklawn, Secret Oath winds up third in the Arkansas Derby. A little bit disappointing because love to have seen her run well. I don't think that's going to stop her from continuing on to Oaks Derby weekend. They may just now aim towards the Oaks. But the winner there was Cyberknife. If you heard the show yesterday, I mentioned I kind of like Cyberknife, who had run poorly in the stake at Fairgrounds a couple starts back. But then Brad Cox put a nice little confidence builder back into him, came up to Oaklawn. I thought Cyberknife was going to be intriguing. $13 and change for Cyberknife in the Arkansas Derby on Saturday. And again, a little bit disappointing for Secret Oath running third, but she will play on that 3-year-old filly scene regardless. All right, I mentioned earlier we taped a couple of other things to toss out this morning. Monday night I was down, and if you're unaware, and some people are, Pompano Park, which for years was the king of wintertime harness racing, Pompano Park is down to the last few cars before they permanently close, which is kind of sad. So Monday night they were racing. I went over, caught some of the races, but I also caught up with John Barry, the director of publicity, who is not just director of publicity at Pompano, but he's an industry veteran. I have some interesting stuff on the show, but I had a great conversation with him besides. He's been around the game for a long time. It was fun to talk to him. Gabe Pruitt, the announcer, went up to the announcer's booth, got some thoughts from Gabe Pruitt, and Jessica Hallett, whose family has been racing at the track for years and years since she was a kid. I got her feelings because I just wanted to get a feel for, what the emotions are as they're going to wind things up in really just a few days up at Pompano Park. So here we go. The countdown has begun. A little visit to Pompano Park and the swan song that's unfortunately around the corner.
And locked in still at the inside as Keano continues to advance up in between trotters. That'll carry Born to Thrive 3 wide. Can't Have Lindy works clear to the outside. They're past 3/4. At 126-1.
Well, our last night is Easter Sunday, April 17th. It's going to be a sad occasion for so many of us who have lived with this track for so many years. From its opening on February 4th, 1964, on a rainy night when Sea Eagle won the first race in 2:13 and 2/5, to the closing night where miles around 150 are not uncommon in this day and age.
Talk a little bit about that. That's a subject that I hadn't brought up, but I remember the game, how the game has changed. And now I concentrate a lot on the thoroughbreds. The thoroughbred side hasn't changed that much, but talk a little bit about the harness side. And I remember you went under 2 minutes. That was phenomenal, but now it's a commonplace thing. Talk about a little bit how the game has changed.
No doubt about that. In the heyday, they used to have 210 2-year-old lists and 205 3-year-old lists. And now, as Brett Hanover, who was a champion back in the mid-60s, and he paced in 155 on a regular basis, and he was worth millions of dollars. And now the lowest class claimer, $4,000 claimers, they can go miles in 155 or faster. And it's just been a transformation where 2-year-olds are now probably 70 to 80 to 90 lengths faster than they were back in the 1960s when I really got started.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Talk a little about your background. How long have you been at Pompano and just the harness game in general, your relationship?
Well, I wrote my first article about our sport in 1964. It appeared in the Horseman and Fair World the very week that this racetrack opened, and I was elected to our Journalists Hall of Fame in 2009. I've been with Pompano the second time around since 2004. Our initiative, I got all the horsemen together and we went and stormed the schools and the libraries to get the voters to approve casinos here in South Florida in Broward County, and so it's really a sad day when this is ending for us.
And talk a little bit about that. What's the mood been like with the folks in the offices? And I'm sure some of them have been around a long time like you have, but in the offices and the horsemen and whatnot, a little bit melancholy. What's the emotion been like here at the track?
It's been very emotional. We have some people that have been here for many years, like Bill Popfinger, who was here when we opened in 1964, Peter Blood, Rick Plano, Wally Hennessy. It's been their home, Mike Dieters. It's been their home for years and years and years. So many of them don't know what they're going to be doing in the off season. They have homes here, so everything's kind of up in the air, and it's very challenging times for us.
Anything splashy for closing night?
Well, we got a few things in the works. We'll see what happens. We got some special races, and if our Super High Five continues to be unbroken, that pool could be $500,000 or more on closing night.
And you talked about you've been here for a long time. Reminisce a little bit about, when I was a kid, I'd go to Saratoga Harness and where the grandstand would be full. And it's just a lot. The simulcasting has taken over. That allows people to bet from around the country, but it allows people to bet from home. So the game has changed. But just reminisce a little bit about this decades ago and what it was like on a big night in the winter at Pompano.
Well, at the top of the park restaurant, you could not get a seat. We had 400 people there every single night, with people waiting for tables, and we had great crowds in here. On occasion we get 9,000 or 10,000 people here. On December 27th, 1980, Niatros was here, and we drew 18,000 some odd people, and 5,000 were turned away, and you couldn't get a parking place or anything. That was in the heydays. Then we had Breeders' Crowns, and we had Isle of Capri Paces and things like that, worth a lot of money. And I will tell you that this place was the winter capital of harness racing. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I grew up here. I watched the place bloom. It was amazing when I was younger, and we used to play on the deck in our office, and we switched barns, and ever since then it's just...
So I'm assuming it's a family, but
Oh yes, my parents have horses, and yeah, we don't know where we're going to go after this.
It really is tough. I'd be lying. I think anyone out there would respect that, it is very tough. It's, it was a little bit of an inevitable. We all knew it was coming. In fact, I really didn't know much about the uncertainty of the place until I arrived at the property. I found out that we've been on our last year for about 10 or 12 years before I got here. So, and then I've been here 9. So it's one of those things we knew was coming. This property's worth just a fortune, with Florida passing the decoupling thing, but it just doesn't make it any easier on, many people have a much more extensive history here than myself, and it's just, it's sad. It really is sad that, obviously, Pompano's Florida's only harness track. The industry in Florida really thrives off this facility, so, it's life-changing for a lot of people that have built their lives and their families. And when we first started this season, it was great that we did get one more sort of curtain call based on, sort of the wagering success I think we had last year there. We had a record season handle-wise. It was great to have, and it's been great to go through. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. However, the downside of that is over the course of the last, few weeks, we're down into almost single digits now on days remaining. Really hits home, becomes more real, every night that we're at the facility that we're, winding down our time to enjoy it. So it has been very tough. Not only the people that race here, people that work here, but even our horse players. I pass people in the grandstand every night, and I mean, it's been a sad run because it's people already near tears. So I know that last night's going to be tough on a lot of us.
I'm not going to ask you to give it away, but I'm curious, as a race caller, are you planning for that last race at Pompano?
You know what, I haven't yet, but obviously I will. I don't know exactly how it's going to go. It's going to be, the first thing I'm going to plan on is how to get through it with it being out of my mind that it's the last race at Pompano, because if I think about it, I'm not sure I am going to get through it. So I'm going to have to find a way to take that out, which hopefully I'll be able to do so. But yeah, it's going to be, you know, a lot of facilities, you know, have closed over the years, and I don't feel like people have gotten a chance to send them out because, you know, there was just a little thread of hope, you know, for thoroughbred tracks. You know, Arlington, we just saw go through that. You know, even back in the Chicago harness tracks, Baltimore, Maywood, there was a shred of hope, you know, when those facilities closed that maybe was not it. You know, we're sort of on the other side of the coin because we know, you know, unfortunately, I wish we had a shred of hope, but we don't. So it does put us in a little bit different situation that I think that, you know, it'd be nice to pay respect for this magnificent facility that's been here for 58 years. And, you know, it's a really cool place now. But, you know, at one point in time, this was the winter capital for harness racing. We had every giant name in the business. Celebrities here every night. I mean, it was a palace at one point in time. I mean, to those of us that are still here, you know, it's still a palace in my mind, but it's got a long history, and you know, it's been a wonderful place to spend nearly a decade.
So again, the number of days of Pompano are dwindling. About the middle of the month, they will wrap things up permanently at Pompano Park. Sad, because it really was the king of wintertime racing on the harness side of things for years and years. So wish everybody down there, you know, the best on moving out to whatever is in the future for them. But in the meantime, they have a really fun event coming up tomorrow night, Monday night. It's going to be between the 4th and the 5th race. We're going to try to show it on Capital OTB. So mark your calendar and mark your clock. Sometime between the 4th and the 5th race at Pompano on Monday. It's going to be a match race for charity. It's going to be Pete Aiello, the announcer here at Gulfstream, and Gabe Pruitt, the announcer at Pompano Park. And they've been going at it on Twitter, and have their fans from each side that are going at it. And so we had kind of a fun conversation with both Gabe and Pete. And John Barry, the director of publicity at Pompano, got in it a little bit too, where they're just kind of knocking heads. And Pete actually went over to Pompano a few nights ago and kind of stepped into their simulcast show. And he was doing kind of a big time wrestling. He's juicing it up. He was playing it. So a fun event coming up. It's going to benefit charity, and as I say, between the 4th and the 5th race on Monday night at Pompano. We'll show it on the network, but I just wanted to give these guys, since it is for charity, a chance to kind of pump it up and promote it a little bit. Gabe Pruitt, Pete Aiello, and John Barry talking about Monday night's harness match race.
Any worse than John McDowell did last night. So that's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say to him. That's all I got to say to you. Hey, buddy, we're live here. You can't be in here. No, cut me off. You gotta go. Let's here Monday when I kill it.
We're on live TV here, JB. Anything could happen on live TV. Pete Aiello, but we have barred Pete from the property. He's not supposed to be here before next week's match race.
Well, I just got to worry after the other night. I don't have anybody throwing anything on the track at me. I'm kind of being a big of a heel up there, I guess. They said that I'm barred from the property, and I'll be lucky if I make it in the cart on Monday night. As long as I do that, he's got no chance at all.
Talk a little bit about your expectations.
Well, you know, he's new to going behind the gate. I was new to going behind the gate, but I had jogged a few horses a few years ago when I worked in Canada. So, ironically enough, I think I probably have more experience behind the lines than he does. But he's got all the decks stacked against me. He's got Hennessy in his corner, and the horses are evenly matched, though, and they'll be doing most of the work. I mean, this is really we're having fun with it, Seth, but this is a showcase of what amazing athletes the horses are.
Yeah, I'm sad I'm leaving town because I'd love to be over there to see, but we'll show it on OTV TV, or we'll be able to watch between the 4th and the 5th on Monday night. But it's also for a good cause. Talk a little bit about the charities.
Yeah. I mean, this is really about showcasing the horse and what amazing athletes they are and what they can do on and off the track. So I'm raising money for the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance for the Thoroughbred Aftercare, and then Gabe is doing very similar. He's raising money for New Vocations, which actually does both standard bred and thoroughbred retirement. So it's it's all about aftercare and showcasing the horses.
Yeah, but there is no competition there because Gabe's going to win this hands down. There's no question about that. Pete weighs about 450 pounds. Gabe weighs about 180. So you have like a Wally Hennessy against a Frank Safford in the bike. And by the time they hit the first turn, Gabe will have about a 20-length lead. It'll all be over.
Pete, as anybody on social media knows, has been trolling me to have a match race forever. Pete, a seasoned hand. He used to train horses and jog them all the time. Me, not so much. I'm very new, but I've tried to come a long way in a short time. We had our last schooling session behind the gate this morning, so Pete Aiello versus me in a match race. Wally Hennessy, our all-time leading driver, he's going to be in the gate to start the race. It's going to be a fun event, so I hope it's something we can all remember, here as we move into the final days. And I know Pete's bringing an army of people up from Gulfstream to support him, so I'm going to need some support out there as well. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's going to be a great night, and and again, it's been a little something to take my mind off the inevitable here towards the end.
Again, that was Gabe Pruitt, Pete Aiello, and a little bit from John Berry, the publicity man at Pompano. They're going at it. They are on Twitter. It has been a whole thing for a couple of weeks. That Wally Hennessy, one of the leading riders, is going to be the starter. We were over there the other day as well, and said to Gabe, asked Pete actually. We asked Pete, well, who's going to announce? I mean, if Gabe's down on a bike in the race, who's going to announce? Jason Bean from Tampa is coming in to announce the match race. It should be a lot of fun. So again, between the 4th and the 5th race tomorrow, Monday, down at Pompano Park. Match race, Gabe Pruitt, the announcer at Pompano, Pete Aiello, the announcer at Gulfstream Park, in the Sulkies for charity tomorrow night at Pompano Park. All right, I'm going to wrap it up, and it's been a really fun few days here at Gulfstream. Always is. Want to thank the folks at Gulfstream for their hospitality. They've been great racing, obviously, on Saturday. Don't forget, today, there is a mandatory pay in the Rainbow Six. They're estimating $5 million. Usually the estimates are conservative. Put together a little ticket, take your pop. Should be a lot of fun. That's today, Sunday. Mandatory pay here at Gulfstream Park in the Rainbow Six. All right, I'm Seth Merrill. This has been Racing Across America. We're wrapping up the show, and we're wrapping up our visit to Gulfstream Park. We will see you later in the week from the studio in Albany. See you then. I'm Seth Merrill, and as serious horse players, we know that information is critical when placing a bet. With live streaming of more than 30 tracks, race replays, free past performances, and daily picks from professional handicappers, no one gives you more up-to-the-minute information than Capital OTB. Combine that with the best player awards in New York State, and you have everything a serious horse player needs to be successful.
Win more with Capital OTB.
Winning starts here.
The Clubhouse Racebook is the Capital Region's new home for racing and sports. 25,000 square feet of Vegas-style action with live wagering on the best horse racing from around the world. 260 flat-screen televisions and state-of-the-art wagering terminals. So don't miss out. The fun is only minutes away at 711 Central Avenue, Albany, just off exit 5 of I-90. And don't forget, if you can't make it to the Clubhouse, you can always wager online 24/7 at capitalotb.com.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off-Track Betting.